All right, what's up, y'all? It's Will here at Schedule Fly, and I'm actually talking to Graham Worth, who's here in Charlotte, where I am today. Although we're doing it over the phone, of course, because I'm not going anywhere right now, and he's actually there at the Common Market, and has so that tells me that you've been able to at least stay open, Graham. So I'm glad to hear that, but I want to hear more about what that means. But thanks for taking the time to do this today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Will. Um, yeah, we are still, all of our stores are still open and deemed essential because we still sell food and we do sell some grocery items as well. But we have kind of remained strong through it all and tried to really adjust to remain open at this point.
Well, that's right, because you are essential. You've got limited grocery items, so people are. Have you been? I mean, have you been busier than you would have been? I know that sounds like a silly question, but I mean, I look at like grocery stores right now. They can't even keep stuff stocked. What's been happening?
Yeah, so we have been selling a lot of alcohol.
Heck yeah.
The actual grocery side of things, it is definitely slowed down some. For the hyper local customers, we are still used as a kind of a convenience grocery store type thing, if that makes sense. But a lot of our revenue chart has definitely shifted over the past month and a half now, I guess, to really it's kind of reflected where people are going, and it's certainly more obviously take home provisions type thing, frozen dinners, beer and wine to go, as opposed to some before where people were coming in, hanging out, having a beer, whatever else.
You have a bar that you have your liquor license, right?
Yep. So we have a bar. It was we sold no liquor, beer and wine only.
Yeah.
And we did a good amount of draft sales. People loved coming in and utilizing our stores as kind of their local neighborhood hangout, have a beer, bartender's going to know your name type thing. So it was more geared towards that type of bar, not giant weekend crowd type thing.
Yeah. Okay. And y'all, you sell some really damn good sandwiches there. Are you still able to do that? Are people coming in and getting takeout sandwiches?
Yep, we're still able to do that, and it really kind of depended on the neighborhood. Excuse me, our location in South End depended on a ton of office traffic, and that is almost ceased to exist at this point, obviously, because no one's really going into an office anymore. But the other stores have kept up with a decent lunch crowd, people in the neighborhood coming in and grabbing a sandwich. And our Jeff Bragg, who runs our kitchen program, has done a fantastic job of shifting our offerings. And, overnight he made a ton of frozen chicken pot pies, lasagnas, enchiladas, all of our soups and everything. So we've gained a lot of traction with that. I think what I've seen is people in times of stress look for some type of comfort food.
Yeah.
Maybe consciously or subconsciously. So, we've been selling a lot of meatloaf, where you would never think about that as being a food that would fly off the shelves. But I think for a lot of people, it kind of brings them back to, a different time, maybe when they were a kid. And it's just been really interesting to see people's buying habits during this time.
That's really interesting. That you said that it brings you back to a time when you were a kid. God, that's fascinating. You do want the comfort stuff right now, and maybe you, if you're, I'm 45. I mean, I've never, we had the financial recession, but that was just very different. Never really been through anything nearly as extreme as this, and Yeah, I can kind of see that, man. I've been eating a hell of a lot of ice cream lately, which haven't really eaten since I was a kid. Like,
Yeah,
next thing I know, I'm sitting down at night and I pull out a freaking thing of Haagen-Dazs and I've eaten the whole damn thing. And I mean, I haven't
right,
eaten. I've eaten more ice cream in the last month than I have in the last 10 years, probably. But
right.
yeah, like you said, maybe that was subconscious. I didn't even know why, but I think that's probably what it was. It's weird.
That's
Probably a lot to learn from this about psychology and what people need in certain times.
right.
Well, tell me about okay, so PPP. Did you guys apply, and how's that going?
We did apply for it, and at this point, we have not heard anything back yet. There's a second round coming, so I think the intentions of the overall program were fantastic. To keep businesses afloat, I think it was nearsighted in the sense that it didn't limit or account for the businesses that had to eliminate their staff and make them a priority. And what I mean by that is, we had already had to eliminate 60% of our staff, within the first week or two. And the intention of the program would be for, I would imagine, a business like mine to hire back our staff and to support the funding to do that. Where I think some of it kind of got lost. And the program was set up this way. It wasn't by any type of ill intention, but I think where a lot of it got lost was put with companies who could maybe weather the storm or could weather it better and hadn't laid anyone off yet and used it as a way to subsidize during a slower time. And I think that's where the overall program missed its objective a little bit. But it had to be done overnight, right? So you're going to find faults with everything, but we'll see what happens with the next round of it.
Yeah, it's a little. It's weird because it was to try to help people keep their jobs, but of course everybody already had to be furloughed before it even got done, even though it was done quickly, and then you got to use the money within 2 months of getting it. But then a lot of places, if you're not essential and you're a place that's not doing takeout or delivery for whatever reason right now, or even if you are, you're on a skeleton crew, and then you got to use this money within 2 months on. It's just it's tough. Hopefully this stuff will keep changing, and we just got to make the best with whatever the situation is. So, like you said, I mean, they already ran out of funding. There's more coming. Maybe some adjustments will be made to, your ability to deploy that money in terms of the timing and how long you can do it for and so forth. You got to hope so. But what are some, are there silver linings from all this? Like, this sucks. Okay, sure, it does.
Yeah.
But what's positive that may come out of this, do you think? For your business?
Yeah, and one of my favorite quotes is from the not so eloquent, or perhaps sometimes eloquent, Mike Tyson, and he said at one point, "Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth."
Yep.
And I think it is so apt for this situation now, right? Everyone has this business model, and this is how they think it should work and will work, right? And right away, as this was going down, I thought I need a business plan that works for 3 months, not 3 weeks. And I feel like a lot of people, and I have no evidence of this, but I just get some type of sentiment that a lot of people went for the 3-week plan, which I felt like was a little fool's gold in the sense that you're going to get a tremendous amount of support in the first week or two, right? People buying gift cards or, trying to spend money and make sure they're spending local.
Right.
And then you see that start to fall off, right?
Yep.
Because people hadn't missed paychecks yet. Once paychecks are missed, then, people can't afford to get delivery or curbside or all this stuff every day. So I think that's where we made an immediate shift and tried to figure out how can we sustain this business for the next 3 months, not the next 3 weeks, because that's where I still think this will ultimately end up, if not longer, right?
Yeah.
And so the silver linings were that Jeff was able to develop a fantastic grab and go frozen food program overnight. We did these meal kits, Will, that have sold like crazy. I thought about it. So we do like a burger meal kit, taco meal kit,
this is
kebab
like
meal kit.
take and bake kind of thing?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we basically cut up all the veggies. All you have to do is put the burgers on the grill and put a cheese on it. That's it. And I had one of my friends be like, that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. Why would I come pay you? Why would I pay you to, walk out of there for this burger kits? So you get 4 burgers, a side, our house-made sides of like Greek pasta salad, potato salad. You get to pick out 4 bags of chips, and you get a choice of 2 cheeses. And his wife was sitting right there, and she goes, "You're the idiot. This is the greatest thing I've ever heard, because I am so sick of cooking that the fact that I can walk into a place, my dinner is done, my kids don't fight over the bag of chips we get because we get 4 of them." She was like, "This is brilliant." And so it was funny just to see those 2 different takes on it from within the same family, right? Within the same household. And I think we've kind of switched and seen people want simplicity. They want you to make their life as easy as possible during this time. And we've done that through kind of walking in and basically handing you dinner. You just need to cook one thing. Or we've shifted and offered delivery. And I've done over half of those deliveries. And I now know why people want to be delivery guys, because everyone loves the delivery guy to knock on their door, right?
That's awesome.
Especially when we're bringing alcohol to you. And so that's been really funny to kind of see the reactions to that. And the real silver lining is we have been shifting and transitioning to a new menu for the store. And this has really given us an opportunity to kind of prepare for that, be ready to switch that over. We've just redone our entire website. It gave me time to pause and focus on that and get us to the finish line on that. So there have been some things that have allowed us in the back office to really fine tune some things as a business, so that when the lights go back on and everyone's ready to roll, we're in a really good position moving forward. And the other thing I'll say about making those adjustments, Will, is anytime there's change, there's going to be people will be adverse to it, right? And it's a great opportunity for businesses to say, hey, during this downtime, we decided we need to run our business more efficiently. These are the reasons our business changed. And it allows you and your customers to have a much better understanding of those changes, as opposed to if you just did this in the middle of rolling along and said, this changed and this is it, then I feel like you'd get a much bigger kickback, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, I think that you're right. And I think that this is almost a precedent that is set for now and for the future, because people can relate to this now. Like, hey,
right.
We have to run this, we have to be more conservative. We have to save more. We have to have a longer term. I mean, we have to be, when people before it was like, the dude was like, I've got a buddy who, he's a, one of these quote preppers. Like, he's been a prepper for a long time, and we always laugh at him. And now he's like,
exactly.
Now how crazy is my storage unit full of dry food and stuff like not so crazy. So now it kind of levels the playing field for that kind of stuff. But well, the meal kits is great, and I get both sides of it. I get like, I'm sitting there thinking like, dude, we can get this at the store. My wife would be like, no, man, like, what are you talking about? First of all, even just going to the store and getting all that stuff puts us at risk, and then or having it delivered, and then why bother? I totally agree with that. Anything you can do to make things easy for people right now, and you take this, you throw. I love that, man. I think that's really smart, and way to be nimble, man. That's one of the great things about small business that I love so much, is the ability to be nimble, agile, act quick, change on a dime. There's somebody ordering some takeout kits right there.
That's right.
But yeah, man, it's a great thing. I'm glad that y'all been able to do that. I hate that you've had to, have 60% of the staff go, but I hope that those folks, hopefully as people, I'm sure some won't be able to come back, and that's part of what you're doing is restructuring the business model. But have you been hearing from folks how are staff doing? Folks that have you've had to let go of, or some that you may be bringing back. Are people doing okay? Just like with mental health and things like that.
I think in general, people are. I don't know. I would hate to paint a broad brush here, but I think people are doing okay. Right? There is some support with what's going on with the current unemployment program, but obviously that will not last forever. And I think one of the things we did. With our staff, anyone who got furloughed, you got basically a store credit to bring home, frozen meals that we provide. So, you could stock your freezer as a way to just try to help out. And, from my perspective, those were some of the hardest conversations and the hardest decisions that I've, made as a business owner, right? You would never imagine in running a business that one day someone say, hey, you're going to need to wake up and let go of 60 to 70% of your staff, and for no reason, right? I mean, for no reason it is simply an economic reason. And it's extremely challenging. But I think for now, the sentiment I get from customers is, there's certainly some people that are obviously having a hard time with it. Others, I think, are doing okay. But, obviously the longer this drags out, the harder that's going to be on everyone. So I think that's the big unknown right now, right?
Are you, in all three of your locations, are y'all under lease with each of those, or do you own any of your property?
No, we're all leased, all our properties.
Okay. All right. How have those conversations been?
I think I would speak in generalities here. I think there's an overall misconception that from the landlord side of things that they should somehow be made whole in a global economic depression, and I think that's unrealistic. I think it's something that one of the ways I looked at it is okay. I don't want to set myself up to have to pay my rent back over the next 5 years, right? Because for me, it's a really hard thing to work to make sure that the person that owns my building gets every penny that's there. And so,
yeah,
I think people will eventually settle on some middle ground that's reasonable for everyone, right? I mean, everyone. I as a business owner, am already taking my medicine,
right,
on a monthly basis at this point, and the idea that a portion of that should be passed along to someone else is a little asinine. So, I think that's happening, but it'll be really interesting to see how we emerge out of this, right? I mean, April was. It was not pretty for real estate. May will be an absolute bloodbath because no one, the people who scraped it together to pay for April, they're not going to be able to pay for May, right?
Yep.
And I'm talking about a lot of people who weren't, who aren't in business at all. So I think that's where it will get really challenging for everyone, and that's where I don't think some of this has really fully impacted our economy yet. And I think that will come in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I agree. The hard part of this, I think, what you were referencing is it's easy to say, hey, we're all in this together, but the less you're impacted by it, the easier it is to just kind of say that and move on. But once you start realizing, like, holy crap, this is personally impacting me significantly,
right.
It's hard to it's just hard to come to terms with that. So I think there's probably a lot of landlords out there that, it's just a denial process at first. I think like, well, I need to be made whole, but it is not going to happen. It's just not. And the thing is, you can't be myopic with this, I would think. I mean, I don't own any property, so I can't speak from experience, but boy, if I did, I can't imagine not wanting to be flexible, because what's your alternative? You're not going to be able to fill those spots right now. I mean, you can have an empty spot with nothing coming in, and I know you got a mortgage to pay, but then that's where the bank's going to have to have an adjustment, and then ultimately it's like, okay, well, this institutional investor that has an investment in here for retire. I mean, it is like, I mean, the second, third, fourth order effects from this stuff are massive. So you're right. It's really hasn't borne itself out barely at all yet, unfortunately. So it's going to be interesting.
I mean, at the end of the day, Will, every investment entails risk, and that is the easiest way. There's no reason that an investment in personal real estate or commercial real estate does not have risk, and this is risks that may perhaps unforeseen, but it's not something that you should be completely immune to. If we're already taking our medicine on it from a business operation side, it is not going to be, and I have to let go of 60% of my staff. It is not going to be my tip-top priority to make sure every last penny of that is paid.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if people want to, I'm not saying me personally, but, if it goes all the way to where it needs to go to, and you're standing in front of a judge,
right,
and you got a landlord there, you're gonna have a hell of a leg up on the person on the other side. So.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I totally agree. Well, look, it's this is a black swan, and it's not part of anybody's model, most likely, or most people. It's not something you would have planned for, and it will hopefully elevate that concept of you need to plan for what you can't plan for. So,
Sure.
I mean, I think a lot of people are going to have a lot more personal and business savings. I mean, there's a lot of leverage out there, and consumer leverage and corporate leverage, and hopefully that will change, because you need some margin for something that you can't plan
absolutely.
for. Well, look, man, dude, maybe I'll try to get by there sometime. We're kind of like we're barely going out at all. My wife's high risk, so we're like super careful. But I'm also extraordinarily stir crazy. I'd love to come by, at least throw my mask on and come stand 6 feet from you and have a beer.
We got curbside too. So
you got
don't even have
curbside?
to walk in here. We can hook you up from your car.
Well, I may do that actually, maybe, because I do need to get some more beer. We've been doing like the Publix app, which is really cool. Publix has done a great job. I'll hand it to them with delivery and all that kind of stuff. But but I've just been getting Yingling. I want some like good local beers. I need to come. I'll do that, man. I'll call you. We'll get something set up. I'd love to come swing by there.
Let's do it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely drinking a lot more beer than I normally do. That is for damn sure.
You are not alone in that fact, right? I mean, I think it's funeral homes and liquor stores are the recession-proof businesses.
Well, you and I talked about that one time, recession-proof businesses. So, liquor stores. I can't believe the ABC board won't let anybody sell liquor to go right now, though. That's so silly. We're like the only state I've come across, Grant. I mean, literally, I'm talking to owners in all these different states, and just out of personal curiosity, I'm asking if they're allowed to do that. Everybody but North Carolina, Virginia, South Carolina, Florida, Colorado, California. I mean, it's just like, what are we thinking, man? Come on. I mean, can't you loosen up for a couple of months just to help some restaurants, create a little additional revenue and generate some more tax revenue, by the way? But anyway.
Yeah, right.
Kind of weird. Well, man, I appreciate the time a lot. I can't wait to at least, maybe come get some to go, and then I definitely can't wait to bring my laptop back down there and work sometime, which I do every couple of months. So appreciate the time very much, man, and good luck. And if you need anything, you know where I'm at.
Awesome. Thank you, Will.
All right,
Take care.
Have a good one, Graham. See you.